This week on the Chuck and Dave Pod, we review all the action from America's favorite fantasy football league. We have the Polecats as a Bulldog's paw, thorn in the Bulldog's paw. We have the Suck Stop here knowing that rebellions are built on hope. And we have the McFlurry machine breaking down yet again. Plus, we look at a potential throwback week and past wonderful names and a look at the week ahead. Hit that intro.
Welcome to the Chuck and Dave Pod.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm Dave.
How's
it going, Chuck?
It's going well. How are you?
Good.
We are into winter, it appears.
We are into winter. It is snowing here in snowy Wisconsin. I'm just putting...
Did you get a lot of snow up there?
Yeah. I mean, probably 2 or 3 inches. So...
Oh, dang.
But it's starting to melt, but it looks like the weather's going to be cool again. So
we got a dusting. It sat on the snow, but
yeah,
on the grass. It sat on the grass, but it melted away by noon today.
All right, let's get into it. Quite the week today, or this week. Had a lot of compared to last week where it was very tight races.
Last week was a great week.
It was great. We had games that were coming down to Monday night, coming down to the wire, and then this week it was blowout week,
which is unfortunate because it was supposed to be rivalry week.
It was supposed to be rivalry week. It was a bad rivalry week.
Yeah, there was not even one game that had any chance of being in doubt before Sunday night even.
Oh, really?
Neither of the last 2 games really had any hope of coming close in those Sunday night or Monday night games.
If AJ Brown would have scored 30 points, then I maybe.
Well, situations. If something had happened, it would have been something for the history books. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But there's a reason those things don't happen very often.
It doesn't help that. Yeah.
So let's break the action.
Yeah.
So first we had probably the marquee matchup of the week: the Polecats versus the Bulldogs. Your top 2 seeds going against each other. Bulldogs were coming in 8-1. Polecats coming in 6-3 after a 2-game skid, and the Polecats pretty well manhandled the Bulldogs, I believe. Not too tight, 154-112.
Yeah, you are asserting your dominance. Not gonna.
Yes, it was the.
You're not letting Todd sit up at number 1 for too long.
Well, he stays number 1. Because apparently the Polecats are the only team that could beat the Bulldogs. He has now lost twice, both times to the Polecats. Of course, the first time in week 3 came down to a nail-biter Monday night game. This one was over by afternoon tea, I guess you could say. Let's just put up some big numbers. It's their 4th performance of over 150 for the year, which is pretty hot. The other team with the most is the Fergals with 3, and nobody else even has 2 in that stat. Mm-hmm. But I think what collapsed with the Bulldogs, and I think might hurt them going forward, is Zach Ertz is one of the things there.
Yeah, I saw that. But also, you have to understand, his team was pretty hindered by bye weeks. I mean, Jamar Chase is out, but Lamar Jackson.
This is true. He had 3-4 guys on bye.
Yeah.
This is
Justin Tucker. I mean, although it's kickers are a dime a dozen, but I don't know if you saw, Justin Tucker kicked an 87-yard field goal in practice.
That's just Justin Tucker doing Justin Tucker.
Insane. Oh, man. I saw it. It was crazy. It looked like he kicked it, and it looked like he could have kicked it from, the 1-yard line. Like he could have kicked 100.
Some team 20, 30 years from now with a genetically enhanced human is going to have a kicker that can do 100-yard, and they're just going to take the kickoff in the end zone and just not even put the quarterback out there. They're just going to trot the team out and take 3 every time.
Just immediate.
It's probably going to be when they base, in Mexico City. That's going to be with that thin air, just go every time.
Yeah.
I actually watched a video recently on the longest kick humanly possible. And I didn't see the chucker from 82, but they were talking about some guy on YouTube was able to get a kick 70-something yards. And they're talking about, getting it one shot with people running at you is different from like getting a ton of practice shots and being able to do it. And so they calculated through a bunch of different ways that probably I think 93-yard field goal would be the longest human possible with the long wind at your back in Peru, where the air is like the thinnest you could have a field.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Probably records end up happening, but the Polecats moved back to within 1 game of the top seed, tiebreaker over the Bulldogs with points scored. It's just truly 1 game behind there. I also updated my list of if every team were playing every other team records.
Oh yeah.
Week. And it's an interesting thing because you can really look at what teams are probably luckier or less lucky than other teams. If you look at the Bulldogs, they would be 48-22, which should give them 7 wins, but they had 8.
Really?
So they have been lucky. They've overachieved. Whereas the Polecats would be 56-14, should have 8 wins, but has 7. That probably comes down to the butt kicking that the Fergals gave us in the fourth week.
Yeah.
With 162 there. But it's a little interesting to look at that. A lot of the teams, we'll talk about it more as they go through, but some are right where they should be, but there's a couple that are different there. But
well, speaking of the Fergals,
next we had the Fergals evening up to the suck. Embrace the suck.
He really embraced it.
We were talking last week about the three game streak he was on at averaging 140 points or something. It was insane. And then he put up
70.
The turd of all turds here. 70.
Is that the lowest score this season so far?
I do not believe so.
Oh, really?
But now that you say it, I would have to take a little look because I can't think of a number offhand that was lower. Let me take a little. That would be something if he just showed up with the absolute lowest score so far of the year. Let's see. Week 10. Week 9, the low score was 6. 8, nope.
I am curious slightly.
It might be. I'll have to. Oh, wait. The North Shore Nincompoop scored 63.
Wow. So that's got the lowest.
That is the lowest one right there. But it was an interesting thing because the Fergals came in 5-4 and Suck came in 6-3. So both of them, they were 3rd and 4th seed, very close together. And aside from it not being a very competitive game, they're very close teams. They're very similar teams, if that makes sense. They're both 6-4 now, right? They both have a record, if they played everybody else, of 42-28. They're exactly the same there.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Which means that they both should have 6 wins, and they both have 6 wins. So they're just 2 teams doing exactly what the teams say they're doing, and they're very even.
Yeah, I mean, I am curious.
Yeah, go ahead. The Suck.
Yeah, I will say
No, you're good.
though, I am curious about some things. I'm curious why Josh decided to put in Cordero Patterson at his flex when he's sitting on Christian Kirk and Devin Singletary on his bench. Like, I mean,
This bench
Patterson
confused me. I wasn't sure why he benched.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was questionable.
Like,
absolutely questionable there. It would not have changed the game, but and even though he didn't do well, I was a little surprised that he chose to put Walker on the bench too, because he had been doing pretty well and had a pretty high projection.
Yeah.
Going into it. I think really hurting him, the negative point.
Yeah. Koo negative points. I actually wanted so he missed 2 PATs and he had 1 field goal. Man, I think that missed PATs should be more negative points. I feel like if you're missing PATs, it should be more like negative 5 points.
I think that we definitely could look at that automatic. High on hopium.
Hopium.
Is that a tons of hope and opium, or is it just?
I'm assuming hopium, high on hope and opium, and probably because of what you said in the intro about rebellions are built on hope. So,
well, for his brother, they sure are.
Yeah.
But yeah, his team just underperformed pretty much across the board there, and it was really not a very thrilling game. Not a whole lot else to say there.
It's all right.
For our next game, then, speaking of the rebellion, Suck stops here, keeps hope alive against the North Shore Nincompoops. Both of these teams coming in 2-7. Of course, we talked to Jordy last week, and he was contemplating the tank potentially.
Yeah, he
obviously did not tank, scoring 120, which was a pretty solid score there. He had a great showing as tight end Komet. You don't get a 22 out of a tight end every day, that is for sure. And he finally had a bit of a more vintage Rodgers performance for quarterback.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he got a good old classic Rodgers performance, which helped him out quite a bit.
And it can't be understated. He also benefited from playing Todd's team on Sam's.
Yeah. Well, and so I'm a little curious here. Now, it ended up working out for him because he did score, but I would have not put in Tua over Josh Allen, even with Josh Allen's bum elbow. Now, granted, Buffalo played poorly.
But the Minnesota defense versus Cleveland.
Yeah, Buffalo, you mean?
No, because Buffalo was playing Minnesota's defense and the Dolphins were playing Cleveland's.
Yeah,
but he did go against the projections by 6 points.
He did
in that start.
I mean, again, he did, but I was just
so
surprised.
Or he didn't catch that. But I think it might have been the cue. I think Sam is a bit shy of the questionables when it comes to starting him, just based on conversations I've had. He doesn't want to get stung. And it did work out. It did work out. That worked out.
No. I mean, there's a couple of things he could have done differently, but not really that much. His bench really wouldn't have helped him that much. So.
No. So the Suck stops here, though. That win keeps them within striking distance. Moved them up to 5th in the standings, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he also just barely inched out from the very total points. Only 3 points total separating those two teams?
Yeah, we're basically tied.
So he moves up a little bit and keeps his hopes alive. And we're gonna take a little look at the playoff picture here in just a minute. But that takes us to the McFlurry machine breaking down after a hot streak serving up mixers. We clog it up with the bye week blues, right? It really wasn't much that could be done.
There was nothing I could do except let
there was a grand total of 0 points on the bench.
0 points on the bench. There was legitimately. I had to let the hurricane just roll over me and wash me away.
Yeah.
So
sometimes this is a game you just bury the ball and move on.
Yeah.
You knew it wasn't going to really happen.
I thought maybe I had a chance, but I had some AJ Brown getting me one reception for 7 yards. Seriously,
and Olav.
I've officially given up. I've officially given up on Taysom Hill. I'm sorry.
Yes. Well, you just watch next week. He's going to throw 3 touchdown passes and get you.
I just dropped him, and he's going to throw 3 touchdowns. I know it's
50-point game coming up soon for him there. But yeah, everybody on your team except for the Tennessee defense was not, and I guess Geno Smith and Pollard did well, but we expected it. Can do going forward. This move Hurricanes up to 5-5 and within very close striking distance. The loss, obviously, one of the teams, Fergal's or Embrace the Suck, was going to lose. It would have been better for the Hurricanes had Fergal's lost, but there's still only one game behind both of those. An interesting tidbit here: the McFlurries, or Dave, I should say, has passed me for the most waiver moves on the year.
Ooh, baby.
And nobody has ever in the 4 years on Yahoo had more waiver moves in a year than Chuck.
What? So wait, are you saying I passed you in total waiver moves from years past?
In total waivers this year? No, just this year.
Oh, just this year.
Just so this year. Every year the Cats have had the most moves.
Oh. I'm curious what the top waiver moves is, because I'll probably just go for that as my consolation prize.
I can tell you what the highest waiver moves is, at least for all time. If we go back to NFL.com, the Oceanian Proles had a year where they had 42 waiver
42?
moves. 42? That is the current record.
Yeah. Josh, you're gonna have to bump your.
That's a new team every week.
Your waiver moves up. I need moves
Bump
up to
the limit.
25.
Yeah, you're only
10
there, and we are over halfway done with the season. You're actually on pace with week 10 here. You got to pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, I got to pick up.
But the Polecats are way back to 13. You got 21, so I don't know. And there's not really a good reason for the Polecats to just go dumpster diving at this point. So, and then 2 other teams are pretty braced. The Suck and Hurricane Force wins each have 11. So it's a tight race for second in the waiver. Not that anybody's going for a trophy there.
Isn't it kind of strange that Rich and Josh both have the exact same amount of waiver moves? I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, they're just playing off each other. We got to
when Josh goes and does his waiver moves, he just does the same type of waiver moves.
Exactly. It's right there. I don't think anyone will get to 42. Challenge accepted. I'm going to pick up every defense.
I'll just be flopping through defense. I'll just do a big cycle of defenses.
I got to do a deep dive here because my guess is that Hurricane drops a bunch of guys and then Embrace the Suck picks them right up.
I wouldn't be surprised. I know that
essentially a trade.
Basically. I don't think anybody's picked up anything I've dropped recently. I don't think anybody's going for Geno.
I don't think anything you're dropping with a 10-foot pole.
Geno Smith, the Tennessee defense, Chase Claypool. Yeah, I know.
Tennessee defense, they might.
Maybe. That's not a bad defense. I don't necessarily want to spend a ton of time on them.
Here's a couple more tidbits from the everyone against everyone. So the McFlurries have an overall record of 17-53.
17-53, nice.
Which should be good for 2.4 wins. But the McFlurries, so overachieving.
Nice. That's considering my team underachieves so much. It's nice to like be somewhat overachieving.
It's nice to hear some positives. Now, the most underachieving team is actually the Nincompoops. They're 24-46 and should have 3.4 wins, but they only have 2.
Interesting.
So he's had some bad luck there. Also, very interesting. The Nincompoops should be 24-46, while the Suck Stops here is 23-47. So actually has had a worse season, but is ahead of the Nincompoops. And then the Hurricanes are only 28-42.
So they're way overachieving.
Yet their record is 5-5. So they are very much. Look at the points against. You kind of usually think of that as like, how has my schedule been? But this is a little bit better actually of showing on any given week what the best is your schedule could be.
Yeah.
So kind of want to take a look at the playoff picture here. It's not too early to start talking about elimination, which is what the Nincompoops are looking at going into this week. Potentially.
If they don't win this week, you think it's over?
It's
mathematically
not
eliminated?
Mathematically over, but the situation needed would be so
it'd be
mind-blowing that
very mathematically improbable.
So at this point, the Nincompoops are 4 games out from the playoffs, which we got 5 games left in the regular season. So 4 games out, but his overall point total is nowhere near having the tiebreaker. So he is really 5 games out, and there's 5 games left. So Sam needs to win out with the Embrace the Sucks or the Fighting Fergals losing out.
Oh my gosh.
Plus the Hurricanes have to lose 3, and you and Jordy have to lose at least 1.
Well, I mean, that's possible, but in Hurricane Force wins, maybe even possible. But yeah, it's going to be tough. It's tough. The bottom 3 are starting to cement our
consolation
place in history, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like I needed to win this last game, and unfortunately it came at such an improbable time in my.
A win for you moving to 4 and 6 would have put you in not a terrible place.
It's true.
But you're still okay. You still have a chance. Now, if Sam loses, now he has a good opportunity because he plays Embrace the Suck this week, so he can get both of what he needs on this one. But if he loses this one, he just needs Embrace the Suck or Fergals to lose out while he wins out, and on average beating one of them by 50 points every week to get that tiebreaker.
Oh, Sam, if you're watching, when you watch this, dude, you got like 8 moves, man. I want to see like 40 moves by the end of the week.
He needs the 42 moves at this point.
Just revamp your team. I mean, the trade deadline is in 3 days. Get on that horn and start calling people, trading your draft picks for the future for everybody.
I mean, we know him. If anybody on here is a sweet talker, it's him.
You know what would be funny is he trades all of his draft picks and takes a bunch of 15th round picks, and then next year he doesn't even get to draft until the very last round, and he just has to draft. He has to draft his entire team in the last round.
Nothing. The Rams version of trades here. Get rid of all Rams in the stuff. So it's an interesting. We can essentially call him out, but it's not. If he loses this week, he's really out. Now the McFlurry and the Suck Stops here have a little bit better. Both also are not really in a position to be breaking any tiebreakers with the Fergals or Embrace Suck. So you're essentially 4 games out, which means you can lose one more and still be okay, or a combination of you losing or both of them winning.
Sure.
But you need them to lose, one of them to lose 4 games while you win at least 4 as well.
I mean, that's more probable. It's more probable.
It is more probable. And if Embrace the Suck keeps performing like they did last week, it could happen.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Hurricanes are only a game out, so they're very much alive. Also, then the Bulldogs just need a combination of either 3 wins or 3 Hurricane losses to lock in the playoff position. So they couldn't do that this week, but potentially, if everything goes right in 2 weeks, they could lock in their playoff position. That's what the playoff picture is looking like with 5 weeks left in the regular season.
Well, that's I have faith. I have faith that I'm gonna.
Well, you wait until
pull this out.
Picks for next week.
We will. But first, just want to let everybody know this episode is sponsored by Gasser's Ultra Organic Grass-Fed Fair Trade Nootropics. Dr. Josh Keller, very close to me. I know him personally. His proprietary blend of vitamins, minerals, and all-natural homeopathic plant enzymes are guaranteed to give you the illusion of well-being without actually changing anything at all. Each capsule contains all-natural, self-certified organic nutrients to help you feel better about polishing off that family-sized bag of Skittles, or when you just want to sit around all day and play Fall Guys. But please consult your yoga teacher, your spiritual leader, or Google to determine if Gasser's Ultra Organic Grass-Fed Fair Trade Nootropics are right for you. Side effects may include feelings of moral and intellectual superiority, delusions of grandeur, and a penchant towards collusion and tampering, as well as bouts of extremely explosive diarrhea. To order your personalized set of Gasser's Ultra Organic Grass-Fed Fair Trade Nootropics, visit GUOGFFTN.com and use promo code Chuck and Dave, that's all one word, at checkout for 18.73% off your first order. That's promo code Chuck and Dave for 18.73% off.
All one word.
I don't know about you, Chuck, but I got a free batch of this stuff, and I mean, I've lost like 20 pounds in just liquid poop this last week.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the benefits of being on the pod here is that we get these free things here. And I mean, it's an interesting thing because normally you associate, just evacuating your bowels in a liquefied form with pain, but there was none. It's like it just flushes you out.
Yeah.
And then you can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
My dinner tonight was 5 Twinkies.
I had 4 sleeves of Oreos. And I mean, I feel great.
I feel great too.
I just feel great.
I've honestly never felt better. And Dr. Google is totally on board.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Now, I think we're all curious, though. Is there a significance in the 18.73% off?
Any significance? No, I think I kind of haggled about with Dr. Josh, and I wanted to give our listeners 20% off, but he's just like, there's no way. So after haggling, he wanted to throw it down to 2%. I was like, okay, well, you got to meet me in the middle somewhere. And we finally settled on 18.73. I don't know. It's just
good haggling skills. Now, I remember Dr. Josh came up with this after a 7-day retreat in the Amazon jungle with Dr. Bronner.
Yeah, with Dr. Bronner. I think in a sweat lodge. Mm-hmm. And I'm not 100%. He told me this, and I have no sort of like sources on this, but except for him, and so I'm taking him as his word. But there was maybe some ayahuasca drank around a fire, and there may have been some possible A-list celebrity / quarterback there with them, but he didn't tell me a name. Okay.
Well, I know that ayahuasca has been known to inspire medical discoveries as well as handicap your quarterback skills.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hurt, and you saw it in his fantasy lineup there too. So
yeah, Dr. B is a cool fella. I would love to meet him.
I think he's dead.
Oh, dang. He should have been on the Nootropics.
Nootropics, I know. All right, so throwback week. This is something we've been tossing around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's been getting pushed back, and we were supposed to have Sam on as a guest, but because of an NDA we both signed, we can't really talk about why he couldn't come on, but he just couldn't even make it. No. But it did open up this segment to bring up throwback week. So
and we've been a league. We've talked about how we've been on Yahoo for 4 years, and we've talked some about our NFL years before that. But of course, we haven't talked as much about all the ESPN years before that. Some of us have been on fantasy since 2010, so we're in our of playing together, and so we've come up with a good handful of names across these years, which I think we all love when the NFL does a throwback uniform week. I think especially this year, allowing for the second helmet, some of those different helmets that I will never get enough of seeing Patriot Pat and Bucko Bruce on the Tampa Bay creamsicle suits.
Oh yeah.
And the old D with the snorting Bronco on the Denver. Those things, I will take that every week if we could. I love that stuff. And honestly, some of the new designs, the black and the Saints one, which was pretty darn cool too. If you haven't seen it,
the all black Saints.
But we love a good throwback. It's good for the merchandise, helps the league, of course. So I compiled the list here of all the names that our teams have had, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about rating them. My wife, Andrea, gave her mostly negative opinions on several of the names. So I think we'll start with the only team that has never changed its name, and that is the Hurricane Force Winds. They're in only their third season. They're the Houston Texans of the Make Fantasy Football Great Again League.
They are an expansion team. So
and so they don't really have a throwback. I don't know. Do you have any
you could now, because if you think about the Houston Texans and then they could go to the Houston Oilers, you could say Rich could be what was
Boscobel Bulldogs?
The Boscobel Bulldogs could be,
or the Iowa Army Ants.
The
thing about that, though, is the Houston Texans actually cannot throw back to the Oilers because the Titans are the Oilers.
That is true. But
so this is more of a kind of Baltimore Colts becoming Indianapolis or something like that, maybe, or the Browns becoming the Ravens is just a brand new team, I guess is more what it's like. Yeah. So he doesn't really have anything to throw it back to. He could pick some other random name. I think he had different names in other leagues. Whoa, a rich backstory. The lore is getting fleshed out.
It's getting fleshed out. Josh, it just takes Josh time to write it.
Well, maybe he has Campfire, which is a great place to write your world building stories.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll sponsor us.
Not a sponsor. Could be a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Please be a sponsor. So yeah, maybe Josh knows? Does Josh have a name from one of those other leagues?
Throw it out there in the chat, Joshy boy.
We'll give you a good half hour to think about that.
Yeah.
Then we have the second team, which has only changed its name, Polecats, which have been the Pony Polecats. I put 2016 to present, but being the owner, I know that he does not spot. Too bad.
It's okay.
Had a good opportunity to really bring us into the rich world, but that'll have to wait. The Pony Polecats has been since 2011, at least. And they were the Pony Puffins, however, in their first year. Now, Andrea absolutely hates the name Poning and the fact that it had a vowel. As a fourth grade teacher, she was not okay with that. And honestly, I don't think that poning is a phrase in online gaming anymore.
It's still considered part of the lead speak. I still agree that
People will know what you're talking about.
Yeah, people should know what they talk about
if you say it. So
yeah.
I think as the owner there, I would be happy to become the Puffins for 1 week again and bring back that old name there. Mm-hmm. The next one then, it only has had 2 names. Their newest member of our league, Todd. He has been the New London Bulldogs for 3 years now, but he started his first 2 years as the New London Blue Golds. So he just rearranged the letters.
Yep.
Come up with that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, reaching Todd is extremely difficult because he has a cement bunker around his house that prevents internet waves from coming in. But if we could send him a letter enough time, I don't know if he would want to bring back the Blue Golds. He had every losing record in our league set from those Blue Gold days.
That's true. It's true.
I'm not sure he'd be on board with that, but it's his only option for a throwback.
Unfortunately, yes. But you know what? You got to embrace your history.
That's true.
Embrace your history.
Embrace logo change too. I would like everybody's throwback to be addressed, to be accompanied by a logo change that is somewhat either representing the old name or just some sort of throwbacky look. Old school type things. When I've been looking up logo stuff, which we'll get to one of these weeks.
No, the Blue Golds weren't a dummy team, Josh. We're getting a chat here talking about how the Blue Golds were a dummy team. That was actually my dummy team was actually taken by Kara under the alias Johnny Champion.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Champion was the dummy team that I had created, and then Kara took that over. So,
and of course, the Blue Golds would have been picked in honor of your attempted Eau Claire tutelage.
Well, or my dad's successful Eau Claire tutelage.
Ah, that is true. That's true. I would love to see him pull out the New London Hardies.
Ooh, go real far back.
Go far back. I will never forget being in his consumer math class and how he calculated all the change in his head.
Wow,
and to this day, if I have to count change, I use his method.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats.
But I did learn that. So the next one, then, we have another team that has only had 2 names. We have the Fighting Fergals, who have been that way for 4 years now. But before that, they were the Durban Giraffes.
Durban Giraffes.
And I like the alliteration of Fighting Fergals.
Yeah.
And by the way, that is Andrea's favorite team name. But that because she loves the name of it. But the band that is her favorite band, We Banjo 3, one of their members, being Irish, his name is Fergal.
Nice.
So she likes that imagery there.
There you go.
But I like Durban Giraffes. And I believe was she in one of the ESPN years? I feel like she was.
Oh yeah, she's been here since
South Africa reference. Yeah.
She's been here since almost the beginning. So again, like I created that dummy team as a filler because we only had an odd number of people. And we were dating at the time and she took it over.
Ooh. A dating situation not destroyed by fantasy football.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't remember one, but I know she had another South Africa reference.
Yeah, I have a feeling like there was a third name stuck in there, but I'm not 100% sure what it was.
We'll have to get her on the pod sometime.
Yeah, we will.
And ask there. But I'd love to see the Durban Giraffes come back. I remember her having a mascot as a giraffe, too.
For sure.
For that one. So then we get filled out backstories. We got Sam has had 3 in his time here. I know he's had more, but he's been the North Shore Nincompoops for 3 years now. He was the Fox Point Ferrets for 2 years before that, and then the Milwaukee Musk Oxen before that. So he's got a couple. Which, if you were Sam and you could choose between a throwback to the Fox Point Ferrets and the Milwaukee Musk Oxen, which I cannot say apparently, which would you pick?
I'd go Ferrets. I think he won as the Ferrets.
He won both years, I believe. No, he won once as the Muskoxen, I believe. Because he won in wait. No, he won in 18 and 19, and then you won in 20, and then 21 was Jordy. So or Josh. No, Jordan. Jordan. So yeah, he won both years as Fox Point Fair, which is interesting. You don't see a lot of franchises coming off 2 championships in a row saying, you know what, we need a rebrand.
Nincompoop.
We're tired of all this winning, which of course he continued to
win. Well, Josh even said,
Nincompoop. That's true. The Muskoxen, the Ferret, and the Nincompoops.
Very odd change.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I don't know. One interesting thing I'm seeing here is we've kind of settled in with the names we have. There's not as much change going on here. A lot of people have had their current one for at least 3 years on there. But I know I never got behind the Ferrets. I felt like for copyright reasons that it conjured an image a little too close to a polecat. And
picking
I felt like that, took some of our small little mammal away there. So I like the Muskoxen. The idea of them being from Milwaukee, though, doesn't make much sense.
Yeah,
to me.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know what a muskox is.
I think it's just like a big old woolly ox with the curvy horn thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
He used to have it as his mascot. He used to have a
yes, and then he
like a yak.
Like a yak. There you go.
Like a yak. So the next team, then we get into ones with lots of names here. So we'll go up with Josh. So interestingly, Eat My Liver's over here. In 2010s, his name was I'll Eat Your Liver. So we can throw it back. I do have. Then he was the Sarasota. He was some other names in between there. 2016 and 17, he was the Sarasota Storm. I love the alliteration.
Okay.
Then he was Kelbag's Swampmen for a year.
I like that one.
Oh, we love that.
Oh, we love that.
For 1 year. Blue Shells Love Me for a year, and then he's been Embrace the Suck for 2 years now, while keeping the logo from Blue Shells Love Me. So obviously you wanted a rebrand there, but not just a soft rebrand. You want the customers. It would be like the Redskins becoming the Commanders, but keeping the Indian head on their helmet.
Yeah.
Like, we changed. Isn't that enough?
It's true.
So if you had this plethora of names that Josh has, what would you go with for a throwback?
I liked no, I just lost it, but Kelbag Swampman. I like that one. I also did like the playfulness of Blue Shells Love Me. I liked the meta behind that. Rather, like it makes you think. You kind of got to know a little bit of Mario Kart. It's nice. Either one of those two.
I did not know until last week that it was Blue Shells Love Me because I'm always in the lead.
What? That's the whole point.
It never crossed my mind.
I know, we know, Josh, that the list of names is a bit more extensive going back to 202, but also, like,
what was Josh in 2002? Like 5 years old?
Yeah, he was. But he was part of fantasy football on Yahoo.
Was this like a baptism gift given to him? Here's your fan. Good luck, baby.
Let's see here. The Embrace the Suck. I want to know if I can view the profile. He has been here since 2002. History.
He was 12 in 2002. Is he only a year?
Okay, so you ready for this? You want some like crazy stuff? 2002, he was the Miami Fire Ants. He was that for 3 years until 2005. And then he was the Riverside Walleyes for 2 years.
Then big jump there, going from Miami to the Walleyes.
Then in 2007, he switched to something called the Eaters.
Oh, he's going to a while.
the Eaters, and then the Bass Hunters. 2008, he was the Simcoe Saints.
I do think I remember something about Simcoe in our ESPN days.
Simcoe Saints, Royd Force in 2009.
That one sounds familiar.
Royd Force in 2009. He was first place. That must have been a college thing because I'm looking at some of them and they were like a lot of college stuff. I'll Eat Your Liver in 2010. Looks like he was in a different league called Master Josh, and he was the Red Horse Thunder. And then for 2 years, he was the Fenwicks.
I would love to have Josh on the show just for him to go through his names and what they all come from.
And what they all mean.
I mean, obviously, we got to have Josh on the show to rip apart his ability as a commissioner.
Yes, of course.
And we got to have Josh on the show to just talk normal fantasy. But I want to see Josh just talk about his names.
Yes. I mean, I think that would be.
But because I personally do not like Josh, we will continue to not bring him on the show.
I mean, there is an investigation going on, so it's
a little conflicting.
We got
each one has a story, and I would love to hear it. Because you know which one doesn't have a story? Rich.
It's true.
So if I had to pick one of the names that I have here, I do really like Kelbag's Swampman. I think Swampman is just a really name, but like brings up a lot of imagery of what that mascot is. But I really love the sound of Sarasota Storm. It just sounds like an NFL Europe expansion team to me.
I mean, you're a fan of the alliteration too. I think
I am.
I just like those alliterated.
And while I think that "Oh We Love That" is a stupid name, the fact is it achieves its purpose. I get this name without really getting into the love. Nobody's gonna be there. Oh, we love that. No, they mean I love that. Like you get into it. Like you can't help but get amped for your team.
Yeah,
with that on there.
It's true.
So I will state though, Andrea, absolute trash. That's what she called that name.
Oh, we love that. Is absolute trash.
Yeah,
love it.
So lots of fun for Josh there. We'll maybe he'll tell us which one he'll pick. Then we have Jordan, who has had probably just as many in the past that I don't know about. Although I think Josh has been in leagues with you longer than Jordan has.
Yeah, Jordan. I looked, and first of all, he must have his settings set to private, so I can't see any of his old names.
Oh,
it's all private league. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's not private league.
Wonder what he's doing in those leagues. She doesn't know me. No, she does not. No, she does not. Nor does she want. So originally back in 2016, we had the Coeller Bears.
Bears.
Play on Keller with just a hyphenation between the O and the E. Then 2018 starts a little string of base names. You have Gronk Smash, followed by Tyreek Hit Me. Probably the most insensitive of the names. Then the Buck stops here for 2 years, followed by a subtle change to the Suck stops here, which was only named that way because he was playing Embrace the Stop and Shit game, but then it stuck after the win there. Yeah. So which of those would you pick?
I like the creativity of Tyreek Hit Me, but I can see that's like, the Commanders going back to the Redskins. Like it might be a little bit of a insensitive situation.
You might as well name your team Ray Rice Didn't Do It.
So I don't know. I'm a fan of the Coeller.
Watson Wants a Rub. Make that your team.
Oh no. That's a good one. No, but I like either Koala Bears, and I forgotten about Gronk Smash. I like Gronk Smash.
I've always been a fan of the
good one.
Koala Bears, and I like the koala as the mascot there.
Yeah,
And the play really classic there. I don't know if he went with the buck stops here. It would really count as a throwback since it's essentially the same there.
Yeah.
I enjoy Gronk Smash. Andrew did not like Gronk Smash. He didn't get Koala Bears, probably because he doesn't know your guys' name very well. She was not a fan of Tyreek Hit Me, especially after I explained it. And she thought the buck stops was a pretty awful name. She's like, that's not even a team name. It's just a phrase. She's like, you might as well name the team Found a Lucky Penny or something. I don't know.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true.
So he's got some good. Gronk Smash was a good one. It brings back a time and place. That one does.
Yeah, it does.
And that takes us to the one with the most names that I have on record, although I know you have many other names in several other leagues and farther past too, because I'm assuming you were in fantasy as far back as maybe 2002 as well.
Oh, yeah.
But the earliest one I have here is from 2010 was the Eau Claire Punishers. I think you kind of kept the Punisher name in different forms at other times too, I believe. I think you carried the Punisher name into the ESPN league.
I did. I was the IFD Punishers for a while.
The IFD, yes.
Eau Claire Punishers.
Mm-hmm. But by the time we got onto NFL.com, you were the Gotham City Rogues for both of those years, which I thought was a pretty clever name. You've always had very wonderful logos to go with your teams. You've got to be the champion there. The Northeast Nightmares for 1 year, the Nina Nightmares, that slight change there because Northeast was too really go after that target group there. And then we start the McDonald's teams. We got McChicken Run, McDouble Trouble, and Blades of McFlurry. Currently.
Fists of McFlurry.
Fists of McFlurry. Sorry, not Blades. Fists of McFlurry. My bad. Your team is so unremarkable. I forget what their name is.
I got soft fists.
So give us some insight on you. What one would you be leaning towards?
I think I got to go back. I may go Eau Claire Punishers or IFD Punishers if I really want to go back into that life. I did come in first in Master Josh, which was, I think, the fantasy league that preceded ours, because I don't recognize any of the names. It was Denapolis Defenders. That would have been.
Oh, I think I remember the Denapolis Defenders. Yes. That was on then.
See, I'm looking at some of the names, and it was the IFD Punishers, the Beaver Cleavers, Red Horse Thunder, NL Elite. We Score Touchdowns.
That's
the J Team.
Right to the point. Straight to the point.
The J Team, Ground and Pound, and the Denapolis Defenders. So I'm like, I don't recognize. That would have been IFD Punishers. But I think Northeast Nightmares was the first year that we actually.
That would have been your first.
No, that was our return. That was our return to Yahoo, the Midwest Champions League, and man, now I'm confused. We must have started on ESPN because, part of me wants to do IFD Punishers. Now, if you go farther back now, so in 2008, I was the UWEC Dees Posse.
Oh, dang. That's a good name there.
I was that for 2 years, actually, from 2007
Was Josh in that league with you?
Northeast Wisconsin Gridiron, I believe so, yes. That would have been Josh and Jordan, probably.
It's like, you got to have some connection.
It was. Oh, you want to? I found an older one of my dad's, the New London Blue Jays.
He's got a type.
So in this league, it was UWEC D's Posse, 1, 2, 3 dominate, Pack Attack, the Steelers, New London Blue Jays, and the New London Cavemen, which I believe the New London Cavemen was Jordan. So yeah, I could go back all the way to 2002. I was the Canadian Collective.
Oh. Must have been one of your years with the Quetico or something, if you were thinking Canadian.
Yeah. And then Englewood Extra Cheese was that for 2 years. I was the Texas Pinheads.
If I remember correctly, weren't you in ESPN? Oh, like Dwight's Demousers or something?
Oh, yeah. Dwyer's Mouse Rats. Yes, I was Dwyer's Mouse Rats in ESPN. That I could pull off too. I like Dwyer's Mouse Rats.
You were that for a couple of years at least.
Yeah. I'm thinking I think I'm leaning towards going real old though. Like, I'm kind of like the blue and gold Packers. Like I want to go back to like the 40s, 50s. So I'm thinking I'll probably like lean a little bit closer to like IFD Punishers, Eau Claire Punishers. I
like that.
Something like that.
I like that. I would agree. I think that's a good place to go back to. I think if we're doing the first year of the throwbacks, go back.
Yeah.
I will say Andrea's favorite team name other than Fighting Fergles was McDouble Trouble.
I did enjoy McDouble Trouble, even though I came in last place.
You know what? It's not about where you end up. It's about the fun you had along the way.
Yeah.
I like the idea of having a poll for everybody's. I'm not sure how the logistics like that would work, but I like the idea of that. Unfortunately, we still need to get a little bit more. I have not seen Rich on Discord, and I still have not seen Todd, and I have not seen Kara ever on Discord.
Yeah. So I just sent. So my dad told me he signed up for Discord, and then I'm like, but did you actually join the chat? And he's like, I think so, but when I look, no, he never joined. So I resent him the link. Hopefully he follows through. And I said, you got to follow it all the way through. Like get to the chat and like say something. So you might see him in the next couple days.
We would love to. So hopefully, because we got to get the word out beyond just this, if we want to actually have a full in throwback week on this. And speaking of looking ahead to next week, what do we got coming up?
What do we got coming up?
We got 4 games, just like every week.
Every week. We got a headliner. This is the headliner. Just because you're in. Well, I guess it's the closest. Yeah,
it's the 2 highest seed against each other. Okay.
Yeah.
You're all ready to just start throwing fists. Oh, Charlie just grabbing his own team, his own horn. No. Flurries. I would not consider that to be. So we've got the 7-3 Polecats against the 6-4 Fergles, which is second and third. Is she third seed right now, or is she fourth?
She's third right now.
The second and third seeds against each other, and really, at least lately, it started off very hot with Todd, but it's on and off. At least the Fergles have been in a place to get a crap ton of points. They had a pretty high score last week. It was 122, so decent. The last time these two teams played, the Fergles won 167-112. It was both the Fergles' highest scoring week of the year and the Polecats' lowest scoring week of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's safe to say that this one will come out somewhere closer than a 70 points or 60 point spread for that. Yeah. One thing to think about is to have our running back trouble. This week, because they have
tight end trouble.
Mm-hmm. They have Fournette. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Etienne?
Etienne.
He's on bye. And what was wrong with the tight end? I don't remember. Oh, Goddard is on IR.
Dallas Goddard just got put IR.
So she's not got her full complement of players, and losing both of her, I believe, what was her starting running backs. Well, maybe Stevenson was one of her starting ones, but maybe both of these are her traditional. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire is only projected 4.7.
Yeah,
that is not deal. And so right now,
the
projection is 1 to 1 2. It's going to be a hard one for the Fergals to win, I think, because the Polecats have nobody on bye. That is one of their starters. Just the full team.
Yeah.
I've seen what the Polecats can do with their full team.
Yep.
I think you want to cover your kids' eyes when it comes to this. Well, my prediction is my pick is the Polecats. I think that the Fergals are just too shorthanded.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, hang on 1 second.
Type standing by. It is also brought to you by Ritz.
I should have done this earlier, but I forgot to actually type up our scores from last week. We all
official.
There we go. I looked at what we all did.
Yeah, let's see how we did. I don't remember all my picks. I know I picked myself.
Yeah. So just to look back, you guys both picked Rich to win, which is suck steps here. Chuck, I think you made out like a bandit here.
4-0.
You out of all 4 games, you went 3-1.
Ooh, which one did I get wrong?
You got Kara and Josh.
Oh, I had Josh winning. That's right.
And I went.
Did not see Josh coming off of his hot streak quite like he did there. We are still trying to use air freshener to get the scent of that turd out of here.
I came in at 2-2. I broke even, and then Jordan also had 3-1. So
now that's impressive that you ended 2-2 because you were kind of picking the renegade approach there.
I did. I definitely. I lost picking myself, and I lost picking Dad. Todd against you.
I respect a man who bets on himself,
but
the NFL does not.
So Chuck versus Kara, you're picking yourself.
I'm picking.
I think it's going to be close. I kind of have to pick.
Still.
I think I have to pick you though. Still.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a single thing because I think I'm going to change my defense. Still, I don't think I'm going to keep Dallas against Minnesota.
I mean, Kara still has a chance to switch Edwards-Helaire, but.
Well, who's she going to switch it with? She have to pick a guy off the waivers.
She'll have to pick a guy off waivers. I mean, you could drop Helaire. He's the 3rd string running back.
Although, to be honest, there's not going to be anybody who's – she could find someone who's projected more than 4.7.
Yes, easily.
So maybe she'll do a little tinker in there still.
Next game.
The next game, then, we have the 6-4 Embrace the Suck against the 2-7 North Shore Nincompoops game for the Nincompoops, as we said earlier, when it comes to the playoff hopes. If they do not win, it is essentially over. And ideally for Sam, he will win and the Polecats will win, giving both of those teams a loss there. I wrote down as the Nincompoops do or die playoff scenario here. So he could just walk away from the rest of the season if he loses this one. Last time they played, Embrace the Suck won 123-71, which is about average from what we've seen from both of these teams. Sam, however, is currently on his longest streak of 100-plus points at 3 in a row for the season. Yes, he finally has strung together 3 over 100s.
Wow.
And at least based on when I was looking yesterday, it's a very close projection right now.
It is. And they both technically need to fill in.
Now, Jordan needs to replace his receiver, and Sam needs to replace his defense.
Yeah.
Their projection is not even 1 point right now. Now Sam does have some unfortunate buys with Tua and Waddle and Lockett.
Yes. But Tua,
Christian
he's got
Kirk
Josh Allen.
He does have Josh Allen against Cleveland.
Josh Allen at home versus Cleveland with snow in the temperature. This is like
Josh Allen is on. He's lost in a row. I could see Josh Allen just going off against those poor Browns on this one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And honestly, a lot of his team looks at least the same. I mean, they're very evenly matched right now. And so I picked the nincompoops. And the reason
picking
why.
The nincompoops.
I'm picking the nincompoops because I think here's a big thing. Kupp's out. That means Allen Robinson is going to be the go-to receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to get more than his non-projected points.
Yeah.
Or he's going to have the opportunity to. I think he's going to have a ton of targets against the Saints here. So I think that's going to be a big one. And I think that Dalvin Cook, I think the Vikings just watched the Packers basically destroy the Cowboys with the run game. And I think they're going to shove Cook down their throat. And he's going to have a great game as well. On the other side of things, I think that Henry will do very well against the Packers defense.
Yes.
But I don't think he has enough support from the rest of the league on that, or the rest of his team on that. We don't know who can even kick a ball extra wide goalpost at this point.
Yeah.
And I was listening this week to some fantasy talk regarding George. And it's kind of that now that they have, they got McCaffrey, and I forget the name, but they have their other running back.
Deebo Samuel.
No, not Samuel, like an actual running back. Over there, I don't remember his name. But him coming back, I feel like it's not going to eat into McCaffrey getting 20 touches. It's going to take away from Samuel and Kittle because they won't need to be throwing it. It's Garoppolo. I just saw a stat, the 2 in games where he has not thrown a touchdown pass.
That's insane.
That is insane. So it's not going to be his catching guys that are benefiting from this. It's going to be McCaffrey just going nuts.
Yes.
So I just don't think I see Embrace the Stock not having enough support cast there. And I don't know who he's going to put in as his other wide receiver, honestly. Thielen is the only one he's got on his.
Thielen's the only one he's got, which opponent has been.
Oh, look at Josh already whining about getting picked twice to lose. You know what? You got to show up more than 71 points to convince us. It's been 2 weeks. How can you be complaining? Look at it. It's the victim mentality that makes this commissioner.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my pick. My pick is the nincompoops. What say you?
Same. I really think that the potential is bigger for is on Sam's side, really. Like, even though they're so evenly matched, Dalvin Cook against the 28th or 29th ranked run defense, he's going to shred them, which is going to mean that Kirk Cousins is going to throw less, which is going to hurt Josh. Derrick Henry, it's going to be slick and supposed to be rainy in Green Bay, which usually helps the run a little bit, but it could hurt him too. And Deebo Samuel is getting less snaps because Christian McCaffrey is in there more. If I were him, I'm changing. Yeah. If I'm him, I'm changing out Cordero Patterson. I don't even know why he has him in there to begin with. When he's sitting there, when Devin Singletary's on the bench.
And I don't think Chubb's going to play a huge game in Buffalo. I think Buffalo's going to.
No, Buffalo's going to stuff him. So I just think like it really, the upside here is for Sam, and it's a little self-serving. I want Sam to win because I need Josh to lose.
There's a lot of people that need Josh to lose.
I need Josh to lose. Now, granted, I also need Sam to lose, but Sam's probably going to lose later on in the season.
Well, and Sam's behind you right now, so it's not a huge issue, if you will.
But all right,
You can still start an investigation. I smell sour grapes over here.
next matchup.
Week 7 Suck Stops here versus the 5-5 Hurricanes. Another pretty evenly matched one with big playoff implications here. Suck Stops here, if they can move to 4-7, are very much in the chase. Hurricanes, even if they lose and go to 5, still very much in the chase. But both teams getting a win really helps them going forward. The last time they played was a very tight Hurricanes winning 113-107. So these are teams that are very evenly. The Hurricanes against everyone would have 28 wins, and the Stops would have 23. They're fairly even teams when it comes down to it overall this year. Think that some of the thing that's going to hurt is that the Suck Stop here does not have Tyreek Hill.
Yes. This week. But did you notice if you open up his bench, Jordan's sitting with an empty bench? He literally could add somebody without dropping anybody. I think he put Darren Waller on Waller on IR and then didn't add anybody.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't. I mean, what are his wide receiver other options? He got Sutton and Palmer.
Yeah,
not guys that inspire things. That I don't think Komet is going to
put an extra 10 points. It'll put him within 20 points of striking distance.
Well, that's the thing. Even
you could probably get a better tight end.
Well, his tight end likely is going to come down to probably whether or not Andrew plays.
Yeah.
Which we'll get talking about that in your game. But, I mean, Komet put up 22 points last week. I don't think he's going to again this week.
No.
But Fields has been on fire lately, so it's possible.
Yeah.
And you don't know.
Yeah. You hope it's the good Rodgers.
I think that the favor is in Hurricane Force wins. That is who I picked here. I think the Suck Stops here had an inspiring win over a bad team last week, but
I think I have to pick opposite of you just so that I can gain some ground here.
This would be a good one to do it on.
And I'm also hoping that Jordan wins because I need Rich to lose.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if, gets traded to Embrace the Suck before this weekend's game starts.
If Josh Jacobs gets sent to Embrace the Suck?
Yeah.
Hey, that'd be interesting.
We'll see.
Josh, trade alert.
Trade alert.
All right.
And our last matchup is the mismatch of the week, I guess. We have the 8-2 Bulldogs against the 3-7 McFlurries. The last time they played, it was actually fairly close. The Bulldogs won 113-100. So it was not a hot week for the Bulldogs. It was an average week for the McFlurries. But the Bulldogs are not having a good go with the injury bug.
Yeah.
They're down Chase and down Ertz. Plus, he's got Mike Evans on the bye. His main bye. So he's got
Justin Tucker's his main
kicker there. That's just his backup. Although he's going to bring back Tucker.
Yeah.
He'll bring back Tucker. But he's got on a bye. Plus Chase is injured. So his wide receiving core is quite decimated. He's still got Stephon Diggs. And he's going to put, I assume, I don't know. Who is he going to pick? Who would you pick? Justin Fields or Jackson at this point?
Lamar. For sure. It's Atlanta.
Fields has been 2 games in a row of 50 points or 40 points, isn't he?
Yeah, he's played really well lately.
Is it sustainable? I don't know. Everybody on NFL.com
no, they've lost. He's literally scored 47 points against Miami and 42 points against Detroit, and they've lost every time. And he's 5 weeks in a row of scoring over 20 points. That's That's
He's
solid.
been on quite a tear. It's not enough to lift the team to victory, but he's been doing plenty.
He's scoring more touchdowns than Lamar over the course. I mean, the problem with Lamar, though, is there's a very good chance he could play like his predecessor. Or not Lamar, sorry, Justin Fields. He starts playing like his predecessors in Chicago and starts throwing a million interceptions. Like,
it would not surprise
he's got a high capacity and shown that he has a high capacity to play well, but he also is on the Bears.
High ceiling, low floor.
Yes.
Again, against Houston, he put up 3 points.
Yes. I don't know. It's weird. The projections are all off right now because my dad hasn't even updated his, and he's got 4 guys right now, either on a bye or out. So
but because of
average,
I don't know enough guys to put. I think he can plug holes, but I don't think he can stop the bleeding this week.
Yeah, it's going to help.
Whereas I think the McFlurries have a
good chance. I have a good chance. He's going to have to pick up somebody, that's for sure.
I'm not sure that the Arizona defense is the best move.
Of mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of looking around. There just really isn't much out there, man. It's just
the consistent defenses are taken.
Like all
you
the
could have Mixon. Is Mixon going to come right back in where he comes? I think a big one for you is going to be if Mark Andrews starts or not.
That is what I'm banking on right now. I did pick up.
He practiced today.
He did practice today, but
and he
so
has a
they
really
are
good
expecting.
Chance to play.
They're expecting him to play. I did end up picking up Jawan Johnson, who's the tight end in New Orleans, because he's played decently over the last couple days or last couple weeks. So he's had a 13 game and a 13 game. But their matchup rating is really low this year or this week.
Yeah, your wide receivers are going to have to pull more weight this week.
Yep.
You're feeling the Watson revival or arrival, I should say?
Christian Watson. I might throw him in there depending on A.J. Brown right now is questionable. Looks like he was held through because of an ankle injury. And he only scored 1.35 points last week. So it's like, come on, dude. Like, it's feast or famine with him. I either get 30 or I get 2. Which doesn't help me. You're picking me?
I picked McFlurries. I think that the Bulldogs have shown some chinks in the armor and that the time is ripe for them to take a little bit of a hit here. 2 in a row. I'm also hopeful that happens so that I move back into first place.
That's good because I'm also picking me, but that
would move you to 4 and if you move to 4 and 7 and the Hurricanes were to win, well, ideally you would want the Hurricanes to lose.
Yeah, so they dropped to 5 and 6
while scoring enough points to have a tiebreaker against Suck Stops here. That would move you up into 5th. No, it would move you into 4th. It's 6th though, but you'd be 1 game out of 5th.
Yeah. I need basically Hurricane to lose and Josh to lose so that they can so it helps.
Well, Josh or Kara.
Josh or Kara has
both Josh and Kara have some more points than you that you're not going to get the tiebreaker on. So it doesn't matter which one of them loses. Ideally, both. You want everyone to lose. Everyone loses. You are only 1 point away from Suck Stops here. And you're only 50 points away from Hurricane Force wins. So.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something. Something to talk about in the wrap-up maybe episode. Things looking forward. But I'd like to see the tiebreaker change. I personally would love head-to-head to be the first tiebreaker. You play each other twice, so it's a split. And if you split, then you go with points, whatever. But
Yes.
if I beat you twice, but you scored more points overall than me, I think I should have the tiebreaker over you.
Yes, 100%. It's how the NFL works. Why doesn't it work for us?
Exactly.
So
just another thing the commissioner is failing at.
All right.
So that are looking forward.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is our record of the longest podcast so far. Hour 20, man. And we don't have a guest.
Didn't have a guest. Spent a lot of time on the names, I think.
That's all right.
And some tangents. But we're going to wrap it up
out of the way.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up here with our final segment, 4th and goal, football thought of the week. Not necessarily fantasy, just a football thought from the league. Do you have a football thought, Dave?
Yeah, you know what? I'm loving the XFL, man. And this isn't NFL, but we've got 2 starters in the league right now that were XFL starters. You got Taylor Heineke in Washington, and you got PJ Walker in Carolina. I loved the XFL when it was on. Not the second iteration, not the first one. I was a little young when that came out, but that was kind of fun still. But the one that got canceled because of COVID was just so much fun, and
that was very unfortunate.
It was super unfortunate to see that kind of like get collapsed again. But I'm super excited. I don't know if you've been following, but they just did their first draft. So they're starting to draft. Look it up. They drafted all their offensive players to all the teams. So I think today. So
I think we will need to have an XFL fantasy.
I'm down. I just love seeing those XFL guys actually do well. So you see PJ Walker doing fairly well, and Taylor Heineke for the past 3 years has been kind of like he's so kind of like he knows how to get a team to rally with him.
Oh, absolutely.
So
the guys like him and the fans like him.
Yeah.
The only thing I really remember about the original XFL, and it would never stand in today's concussion awareness, was the idea that it was going to be much more violent.
Yeah.
No fair catch rules. We're going to just smash into you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I do believe, though, and I might be wrong, I believe that the original XFL was responsible for the creation of the sky cam that goes across
100%.
The field.
Yep. They were also the reason why they do the this year, why they will interview coaches at in between quarters now.
Yeah. I mean, competition breeds innovation.
Yeah.
And having a league, even though they're competing with the NFL, they bring up other ideas, and they can be a kind of a breeding ground for that, which can then move up. I think the whole idea of it was more the USFL, I think, did this, but the Sky Judge.
Yes.
Was that one. And honestly, I wish that the NFL implemented it more fully.
Yes.
Like that. But yes, agreed. Very nice thought there, Dave. My thought this week is I like it when we can easily look at the guys on the NFL, the coaches, the players, as just like not us, the athletes. They're rich. Many of the coaches anymore are very good looking because that's what it requires to be on. It's not us. We can't be that. No matter what. I cannot just devote my life to the weight room and suddenly even make it as a long snapper in the NFL. So it is heartwarming. And I know there was a lot of hate for this and possibly some arguing over, white privilege and things like that. But Jeff Saturday gets Colts out of nowhere. The guy has only ever coached high school. He was coaching a fantasy team earlier in the week. And just because apparently he's buddies with Jim Irsay and played very well on the Colts, he is now their head coach. Also, nobody, I believe, on that coaching staff going into this week had a in an NFL game. It was a bunch of nobody. They might as well have put me and you in there and said, go get them. And what does he do? He wins.
You win. Yeah.
I think we've all had the curtain pulled back. It doesn't take anything to be a coach. I think we see now that this has just been a good old boys club. Me or you, we could go in there and be a quality coach if we're playing Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, if you're playing Josh McDaniels.
And that means something to me because, we're pushing mid-30s. All hope is lost, but not anymore. If some bunch of random guys who have done more time coaching Madden football than any real football can pull together a team and not only win, but look better than they had the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's for all of us. And that's my fourth thought. We'll see what he does going forward. We'll see if he's able to keep it going. But I think that pretty well wraps up the pod this week. Yes, as you said, quite lengthy.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking it out. For those who listen to this on replay,
don't forget to check out our sponsor.
Thanks for sticking out. Don't forget to check out our sponsor.
Chuck and Dave, all one word.
Gasser's Ultra Organic Grass-Fed Fair Trade Nootropics. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell, and we'll see you again next week. See you guys.
Good luck.